Hey everyone, so Valeera has arrived on the PTR late yesterday, and I thought I'd do a video just to have a quick look over her abilities and talents and just really to, I suppose, get an early impression of how I think she'll be. For anyone who's not read anything about Valeera, she is a rogue that uses a combo point system, and she has to acquire 3 in order to maximize her damage, similar to a rogue in World of Warcraft. The more combo points she has, the more damage she can do on her eviscerate. She also is unique in the sense that she has an energy mechanic up to a maximum of 100, and she regenerates 1 energy per second. Using any of her abilities, Sinister Strike, Blade Flurry, or Eviscerate, all consumes energy, so she is limited in her burst potential if she simply uses her skills back to back. Obviously that also restricts the amount of combo points that she can quickly acquire. What's interesting about Valeera is she has a second set of skills when she uses Vanish, which is her trait. So she vanishes from sight and becomes stealth, increasing her movement speed by 10%. For the first second, she's also unrevealable and can pass through units. Using Vanish grants her a different set of abilities. So if I just use that now, you'll see you can move around your stealth just like you would be with Nova or Zeratul. And you get access to 3 new skills, which are Ambush, Cheap Shot, and Garrot. Ambush, they all award 1 combo point, by the way. Ambush is a high damage single target attack. Cheap Shot deals damage over time. A small amount of damage and then a stun. And Garrot deals damage over time. So it deals, in this case at level 20, 164 damage instantly, but then around 400 over 7 seconds. But it also silences. So there's a lot of flexibility here when she's actually stealth. So you can stun if you wish, or you can obviously silence someone. Say Malfurion here was using his heroic. You'd be able to silence him and shut him down instantly. Let me just grab these cooldowns. And you can see we're up to 2 combo points as well because I've used 2 skills. So it's an interesting mechanic because the cooldown on Vanish is absolutely tiny at 8 seconds, and because there's no time limit in terms of how long you're in it, in theory you will always have it available. So it's up to you just to decide which you think's best. Do you want to burst, do you want to stun, or do you want to cause a bit of dot damage and a silence? In terms of her abilities outside of Vanish, she has a small engage and Sinister Strike, so she dashes forwards in a line for 241 damage. If she hits a hero, she will stop immediately and the cooldown is reduced to 1 second. So she can repeatedly use it against a single target to quickly acquire combo points, but obviously at 30 energy she can only really use it 3 times before it's exhausted. Blade Flurry, it's an AoE around Valeera, 40 energy cost with a cooldown of 4 seconds. Again, awards 1 combo point. Really, it's to use when you're in amongst several enemies. Let's have a look. So the damage isn't amazing, but it's pretty decent for clearing camps. And obviously adding a little bit of pressure to enemies that are low health who happen to be grouped together. And then her sort of finisher is Eviscerate, again similar to the WoW Rogue in that it consumes all combo points and deals incremental damage based on the amount of combo points that you actually have. So 1.219, 2.438 and 3.658. It's obviously a burst skill. You want to be acquiring 3 combo points before you actually use it. But obviously if it means that you finish someone off with a 1 combo point Eviscerate, then you might as well do so. In terms of basic attack damage, she doesn't deal huge basic attack damage, but she does attack relatively quickly. Really, she's all about the burst from her abilities and actually interlinking her Vanish and her second set of abilities mixed with Sinister Strike, Blade Flurry, and then her finisher. So untalented, 658. In terms of quests and just general talents, there's a running theme in terms of she has a lot of actives. So at level 1, at level 4. She has another at level 16, yep, the Thistle Tea. And she has another at level 20. So in theory, you could pursue 4 active talents with Valeera. You can also specialise heavily in stealth and gaining damage bonuses and energy back from using Vanish. So Subtlety at level 1, Initiative at level 4, Elusiveness at level 13. Or you can try to pursue a little bit more in terms of defense or energy. So Vigor regenerates additional energy 2 per second after gathering 20 energy globes, increases her energy maximum to 120, which is pretty nice. Or this combat readiness gives a little bit of basic attack reduction, so it gives her 50 physical armor, so it reduces basic attack damage by 50% and stores up to 3 charges. Crippling Poison activates to cause Valeera's next instance of spell damage to slow enemy movement. Really, really nice active from level 1. 3 seconds slow at 25% speed reduction with a 15% cooldown is pretty nice. And then Subtlety, sorry I bypassed that. After remaining vanished for 4 seconds using Ambush, Cheap Shot or Garrote, causes Valeera to regenerate an additional 10 energy per second for 5 seconds. So that's an additional 50 energy over 5 seconds. Which is pretty nice because she does only generate 1 energy per second at the moment. So there's a lot of options here. You can have, by default, more energy. You can have quicker energy acquisition once you've actually used an ability. You can grant yourself more defensive measures through combat readiness, or you can choose to slow targets once that you've used spell damage against them. My personal preference at the minute is leaning towards Subtlety, simply because you can regularly trigger it with Vanish, and I get a feeling, having looked at across her talents, that she is all about burst, and you need to get in and out really quickly. You need to do the damage, finish targets off, and then leave. And Subtlety accommodates that a great deal because fundamentally you just gain more energy, so you can use more abilities back to back. And typically you will be engaging using Vanish to start with, rather than opening, say, with just Sinister Strike, because you are incredibly vulnerable when you are out in the open. Level 4 Relentless Strikes reduces the energy cost of Sinister Strike by 10. I think it's 30 by default. Yep, so it brings it down to 20. So you can use, 5 of those back to back if you so wish. Hemorrhage. Valeera's basic attacks deal 25% additional damage to enemies affected by Garrote, which is her silence and damage over time, which is pretty nice because the actual damage over time component lasts 7. Let's just test that. So 182 is pretty nice, and that's 7 seconds worth, which could, in theory, pair really well with Crippling Poison. Once you've opened with Garrote, you could slow them for 3 seconds and really just beat on them a little bit. It's just Initiative, Ambush, Cheap Shot and Garrote award 2 combo points, which is really, really nice. Basically, you're going for that stealthy sort of backstabber rogue at the moment. So you could... Oh, Arthas is really annoying with that. Which I think is pretty nice. Again, it's pursuing a high sort of burst talent build. And then wound poison, spell damage reduces enemy healing received. Now this is amazing at level 4. I mean, Zul, for example, he only gets healing reduction at level 20 on his Spectral Scythe, whereas wound poison activate to cause Valeera's next instance of spell damage to also reduce healing received by the victim by 50% for 4 seconds. It does not break Vanish, similar to your crippling poison as well. So in theory, you could double bump crippling poison and wound poison to cause a 35% slow, 25% slow, sorry, plus the healing reduction, which I think is pretty cool. Let me just try both of them. So you're not gaining the damage, but you're just gaining the utility from that, which I think could be really nice, especially if you're against the likes of Lieutenant Morales on the back line, or Oriel, who's particularly difficult to pin down and to actually restrict her energy gain. Level 7 talents. Mutilate increases Sinister Strike now hits with both blades, dealing 100% additional damage, but its range is reduced by 1. So it's really short at the moment. Let's try that. Okay, it's tiny. So what's that dealing? 502? 502 is nice for that. So a very, very close range high burst attack. What else we got? Fatal Finesse quest. Each time Blade Flurry damages an enemy, its damage is increased by 3 up to 60. So we'd be looking at what, bring it up to almost 257, I think. And then after damaging 20 heroes, it permanently reduces its energy cost by 20, which halves it. So you could use that twice. So again, you'd be able to use that 5 times to acquire 2 combo points on each. But again, do you need the sort of... It's still never going to deal the sort of damage that Sinister Strike would, even in the AoE. And I can't imagine, as Valeera, you want to stay in an AoE sort of environment for very long, because you will get absolutely wrecked. But it's certainly good for clearing camp, certainly. Slice and Dice. Eviscerating an enemy with 3 combo points causes Valeera's next 3 basic attacks to have their attack speed increased by 150%. Lasts for 3 seconds. Okay. So... Okay, so you really cannot pursue a basic attack build. Let's just reset that just to show. You could go... Subtlety, Garrote, obviously that increases your basic attack damage by 25% over 7 seconds. And then Slice and Dice, let's see what we've got. It's pretty good. I don't see it as truly viable with Subtlety. I'd probably recommend Crippling Poison, because then you can guarantee over the duration that really you can catch them up and maintain those basic attacks.
Choose a talent.
And then Assassinate. Ambush deals 100% additional damage if no other enemy heroes are within 5 range. So 5 range is... What's the range on this? I think that's about 5 range. So as long as nobody's roughly within that radius, 100% additional damage on ambush. So that would bring it to 822, which is a huge amount of damage.
Enemy slain.
You're done for. I am the blade in the dark.
Hang on a minute. 427. Yeah, 854. Okay. Oh, does that include your own allied heroes? Oh, just enemies. Okay, that's fine.
Alright.
So you can probably see the way I'm going with the talents at the minute. It's all about the Vanish. It's all about gaining those combo points quickly. It's all about bursting as fast as possible. And I think, yeah, it's akin to Zeratul. And I absolutely think Crippling Poison is going to be viable and all these actives. However, just for this video and personal preference, looking at these talents off the bat, is most likely the way to go. Where her heroics are concerned, they're both really interesting. Smoke Bomb creates a cloud of smoke, and whilst you're in it, she's unrevealable, can pass through other units, and gains 25 armor, which is 25% mitigation. Valeera can also continue to attack and use abilities without being revealed. Just to show you. So if you step out of it, or in, which I think is nice, is effectively a lot of mitigation and a lot of mobility. Now it doesn't make you invulnerable just because you're obscured,
Make it so easy.
but it does give you 25% damage reduction, and it means that enemies during that 5 seconds, if you happen to drop it amongst them, can't actually attack you, I don't think. Which seems pretty nice.
Choose a talent.
And next, Cloak of Shadows. Valeera is enveloped in a Cloak of Shadows, removes all damage over time effects from her, and for 1 second she becomes unstoppable. She gains 75% spell armor and reduces ability damage taken by 75%. So this is, I would say, nigh on useless against a basic attack heavy team. Your Varians and your Rainas and your Valors, because fundamentally you're not actually gaining anything from it, because it's only reducing your ability damage. So although I don't know, say the charge from Varian, it would reduce the damage from that, but we're talking Leeming, Kael'thas, Jaina levels of mitigation here, and 75% is absolutely enormous. So let me change that.
Should be fun. Shadows envelop.
They don't move any quicker, and it lasts for 1 second. It's going to be good against Pyroblast. It's going to be good if you get caught in a Ring of Frost, just to, or, you know, Cone of Cold, something like that. If you want to block an Arcane Orb or Leeming's Teleport when she's taking Calamity. Is it going to be used all the time? No, I don't believe so, but it will have its niche, especially if, like I said, you are against an ability-heavy composition. But for me, I think Smoke Bomb is really, really nice.
Choose a talent.
Level 13, Elusiveness, again building on your Vanish trait, increases Vanish movement speed bonus by an additional 10%, so you gain 10 anyway, so that's making you 20% quicker. Death from Above, ambush teleports Valeera behind a victim, and it now has 5 range. Okay, that's nice, so you don't have to be bang next to someone to use it. Blind, when Cheap Shot expires, the victim is blinded. So that's the stun, if you've forgotten.
That was rather entertaining.
And then Strangle. Garrot reduces ability damage dealt by the victim by 25% for 7 seconds. When would that be of huge value to a single target? 25% for 7 seconds sounds a lot, but in comparison to all of these, I'm not entirely convinced. Obviously, if you're going for a build where you're wanting to shut down those mages and assassins like Leeming and Jaina, that's absolutely going to have value, because you could obviously open with Garrot for the silence. you could trigger the heroic in Cloak of Shadows, and you would ensure that after Cloak of Shadows expires, you've still got a lengthy period of time where you are taking reduced damage. So I think against the mage heavy comp, that's going to be quite nice. Personal preference here, I think against a basic attack heavy team, you're probably going to pursue the blind, simply because it's going to allow you to shut down the likes of Rainer and Valor fairly easily. And then Death from Above is probably, in terms of this spec that I pursued, the go-to, simply because allowing you to move immediately behind someone is going to ensure that you're out of their basic attack range. You know, in terms of their immediate basic attacks, they're going to have to turn. You may miss an ability that's incoming towards you, and it's going to disorientate a little bit. 16 Self Fate. Sinister Strike deals 50% additional damage and generates an additional combo point when used against silenced, rooted, or stunned enemies. So you could, in theory, gain 3 combo points instantly. Let's have a look. So stealth abilities award 2 combo points. You could do that. And then one Sinister Strike gives you 3. Or if you didn't want to take initiative, yeah, if you're going to go for a basic attack build, you'd probably go Hemorrhage. So you can use Garrote for 7 seconds. And then at 16, when you have silenced them,
rather entertaining.
yeah, when you have silenced them, you would then be at 3 combo points. You get 1 for your opening attack on the Garrote, and then you get 2 by following up with a Sinister Strike. So, robbing Peter to pay Paul, really. Initiative does the same. Seal Fate does it a little bit later. C3 instantly. So the preference is up to you, I think. I think that's a little bit too restrictive. I feel like initiative so early on in the game is probably the better bet. What else we got? Rupture. Valeera's basic attacks refresh the damage over time effect of Garrote. That is really, really nice. Considering Garrote lasts for 7 seconds already, deals 4/3/2 damage over 7 seconds. That's really nice. Let's just Are you going to be able to maintain basic attacks against a single target for 7 seconds? Probably not. Certainly could in a PvE environment, let's say against a boss or I don't know, maybe a particularly tanky Muradin or something like that, but I can't see it all the time.
Should be fun.
Expose armor. Eviscerate lowers target armor. Using 3 combo points causes them to lose 25% armor, so effectively it's vulnerability. For 2 seconds, increasing all damage taken. And then Thistle Tea. Activate to instantly restore 100 energy, so that effectively gives you double the amount. I think it's got to be a toss-up between Expose Armor and Thistle Tea. I mean, fundamentally, that is it's a vulnerability, and you don't necessarily have to use Eviscerate on the target you're trying to kill. You can save your combo points, and you do have a period of time to actually do that, just to show you. So, I think it's about 30 seconds you get to use your combo point. So you could, in theory, like in this Jaina, obviously bursting her down, but in a team fight you could gain your combo points, you could vanish away, you could open up with, I don't know, silence against someone or a stun. And then use vulnerability on them to allow your team to burst them down quickly. So it does have some really good group synergy. And then obviously Thistle Tea, if you are going full ham over a particularly long fight. Let's just take these cooldowns off. So you can see, pretty easy to exhaust your energy incredibly quickly. At which point Thistle Tea is going to be invaluable for those protracted fights where you need to be able to burst and maneuver.
Choose a talent.
Yeah, I think either of those is absolutely fine. For me, just on this video, I'm going to take Exposed Armor. I think that'll have greater practicality later game. Smoke Bomb, Adrenaline Rush. While in the Smoke Bomb, Valeera regenerates an additional 30 energy per second. Okay, does she get any by default? No, she doesn't, but that is an enormous amount over 5 seconds. Night Slayer reduces Vanish cooldown from 8 seconds to 5 seconds. And then Cold Blood, activate to increase Eviscerate damage by 100%. Okay, that is pretty mega. Let's have a look. So we know that it, from the talents we've taken, it's already dealing 100% additional damage if no other heroes are around from Assassinate. It moves us behind them. We get 2 combo points for when we're stealth, and we're gonna, so effectively we're increasing its damage by 200%. Let's get some combo points. Let's vanish. Oh, combat chainer, quick! Quick! Malf, stop killing her.
Now you're thinking like a rogue.
Okay.
Well,
1500 damage instantly with vulnerability is absolutely insane. And there is so few people that can survive that. No assassin, I don't think. You're going to bring people down incredibly quickly. And then if you were to take the other heroic, Cloak of Shadows, her talent, Enveloping Shadows, whenever Valeera uses Vanish, she also gains Cloak of Shadows, so she would gain the Unstoppable and ability damage reduction, which is really nice.
that was rather entertaining.
45-second cooldown on that Cold Blood though, which is pretty lengthy. So yeah, I'd probably say that's my preferred build for it, just from when I've been testing on the PTR since yesterday. Obviously it's focusing heavily on burst. It's not paying much attention to prolonged fights or relying on her basic attacks. It's literally all about her ambush. Subtlety allows her to regain energy quicker. Initiative grants 2 combo points, so that you only have to use 2 skills to gain the maximum for Eviscerate. Assassinate increases its damage by 100% if you can find a lone target or one that's a little bit back from the pack. Smoke Bomb, just really nice for mitigation and evading enemy attacks. Death from Above, really nice just to be able to teleport behind players and just confuse them briefly. Exposed Armor, team-wide vulnerability if you can manage to save your 3 combo points. And then Cold Blood to increase the damage of your ambush. So overall, that's a quick video overlooking her talents. There are a lot of variables with Valeera. The basic attack build absolutely is viable, so you can pursue Crippling Poison to slow them down, take the hemorrhage, so that you deal additional damage over the 7 seconds the dot is active.
Rather entertaining.
You can take Slice and Dice, again, improving your basic attack damage, and you can take... where's the rest? The Rupture, to increase the duration of the dot as well. So that absolutely is viable, and I do really like her actives as well. If you're wanting to bring more utility to the team, Crippling Poison plus Wound Poison are all really, really nice. What I will say with Valeera, last off, this video's already gone on long enough, is the fact that she is really challenging to play in the matches that I played on PTR. She needs exceptional positioning. She doesn't really have the ability to escape easily if Vanish is on cooldown. She's really vulnerable to crowd control. And against AoE heavy teams or anyone that's got good vision, such as Tassadar, she can be shut down fairly easily. Other than that, I do think she's one of the best heroes to arrive in Heroes of the Storm for quite some time, simply because she has such a high skill ceiling and that there are so many variables for her builds. I'll be publishing the written build guide for her, including all the variables and a little bit more in-depth thoughts on her weaknesses and strengths and who she's good against and bad against in the next few days. So I'll leave the information in the description below. Thanks for watching.